What started as an ordinary visit to a local toy store turned into a royal disaster no one expected. Prince Louis, the youngest member of the royal family, was reportedly dismissed after a misunderstanding left staff members unaware of his true identity. But moments later, everything changed. When Prince William stormed in, the entire atmosphere shifted, and the employees instantly realized their mistake. What really happened inside that store? And why did this incident spark outrage across the UK? You won't believe how it all unfolded. Prince Louis, told to leave. Toy store. Once in a while, a day meant to be lighthearted takes a turn no one expects. For Prince Louis, it was supposed to be just that, a joyful afternoon abroad, filled with laughter and toys. While visiting a bustling European city known for its rich history and charming streets, Prince William decided to take his youngest son on a surprise visit to a luxury toy store they had stumbled upon while strolling through the city's shopping district. What neither of them knew was that this stop would become the talk of the town. The store, part of an elite international franchise, was grand and glittering, shelves overflowing with the kind of treasures any child would dream of. Louis's eyes lit up the moment he stepped in, while William paused to take a call near the entrance. Louis wandered off down the aisles, captivated by a limited edition racing car that sat on a glass shelf. He picked it up carefully, admiring its details, oblivious to the watchful eyes of a certain employee nearby. That employee, later identified as a senior staff member, had been observing Louis from the moment he entered. Dressed simply and without security in sight, Louis didn't appear to be anyone special, and that's where the trouble began. "Put that down!" the employee snapped. "You can't afford it!" Startled, Louis calmly explained that he was only looking and that his father, Prince William, was just at the door. But the man only sneered. "Sure he is, and I'm the King of England," he mocked. "Out, now." And so, Prince Louis, the grandson of King Charles, was told to leave. But then the door opened. William stepped in. The moment was electric. William, composed but clearly aware of the commotion, walked directly to his son and then to the employee. Though what he said was quiet and swift, the shift in the store was instant. The staff rushed to apologize. The manager appeared from the back. Shoppers whispered in shock. Phones came out. Was it a case of mistaken identity, a lesson in humility, or something deeper about judging too quickly? Whatever it was, that brief moment turned into a viral storm and a subtle reminder: not every royal moment begins in a palace. But what really made the employee sneer at Prince Louis, and why did everything change the moment William walked in? Stay glued to your screen. Prince Louis left in tears until Prince William walked in. Prince Louis wiped at his face with the back of his sleeve, trying to make sense of the harsh stares and bitter words that had driven him out of the toy shop. His vacation had barely begun, but this moment had already cast a heavy shadow over it. Children who once smiled at him were now laughing behind his back, tossing cruel remarks that clung to him like thorns. "Entitled," some muttered. "He can't even buy a toy without royal backup," others sneered. He sat quietly on the cold steps, cheeks stained with tears, his heart pounding under the weight of embarrassment. The door of the shop swung open again, and out came more kids, some older, some younger, all wearing amused expressions, feeding off each other's energy as they hurled mocking words. To them, he wasn't a prince, just another boy who didn't belong. And despite everything he'd been raised to know about kindness and dignity, this moment made him question it all.
Do you want this?
Then the atmosphere shifted. A black SUV pulled up quietly, but the presence that stepped out was unmistakable. Prince William's stride was steady, his face unreadable. The employees, once bold, now faltered under his gaze. He didn't need to raise his voice. His silence alone spoke volumes. What exactly he said remains unclear, but those close enough said the manager turned pale and began stammering apologies. Was this all a simple misunderstanding? Or had prejudice, whether personal or systemic, played a role in the treatment of a young royal simply enjoying a day out? As William led his son away, hand resting gently on his shoulder, onlookers were left wondering what really happened inside that store, and more importantly, What happens next? But what did Prince William say that left the staff speechless and the manager trembling? Stay glued to your screen to find out. When Prince Louis faced rejection, and William took charge. Prince Louis stood quietly, hurt and confused, just outside the toy store, his eyes brimming with tears. Moments before, a store employee had asked him to leave, accusing the young prince of causing trouble. Louis had said his father owned the store, but the clerk didn't believe him and dismissed the boy outright. Feeling rejected, Louis found his mother, who immediately sensed something was wrong. She was furious. Without wasting a second, she sought out Prince William and explained what had happened. William's face tightened with restrained anger, but he stayed calm. Approaching the employee, who was still near where Louis had been, William asked quietly, "Are you the one who asked my son to leave?" The clerk smirked, confident. "Yes, the kid was making a fuss and claimed his father owned the place. I was just doing my job." But William's gaze didn't waver. "I am his father," he said firmly, "and while I may not own the store, my son was not causing trouble. You, however, have mistreated a customer, and worse, acted on unfair assumptions." The employee's confident smirk faded to pale shock. I didn't realize. I'm sorry, sir. Please forgive me." But William's tone was steady, leaving no room for excuses. "An apology is not enough. Discrimination and prejudice have no place in any store I am connected to. Your behavior is unacceptable." The employee was promptly dismissed, leaving with regret. Turning back to Louis and his mother, William knelt and spoke softly. "No one should ever be made to feel small, especially not you." Louis wiped his tears and smiled faintly, trusting his father's promise to protect him and others from such unfair treatment. Later, William gathered the store staff. "Let this be a clear lesson," he told them. "Respect and kindness are not optional, they're expected." This incident became more than a family moment. It was a powerful reminder that dignity must be defended, no matter who you are. Prince William's Stand Sparks Change. Discrimination has no place in any store, and that message was made crystal clear by Prince William after an upsetting incident involving his son, Prince Louis. After Louis was unfairly asked to leave a well-known London toy store, William stepped in, not with anger, but with firm determination. He gathered the staff and reminded them that kindness, respect, and equality are the foundation of how customers and employees should be treated no matter who they are. His words weren't empty. They were a call to action. The employees listened, understanding that creating a welcoming space for everyone wasn't optional, but essential. Following this, the family's trip continued, filled with joyful moments visiting historic castles, peaceful parks, and even soaring above the English countryside in a hot air balloon. Yet the incident lingered in their minds, and it wasn't long before it caught wider attention. During a quiet dinner at a cozy local restaurant, a travel reporter named Linda approached the family. She had heard about what happened at the toy store and wanted to hear William's thoughts on standing up to discrimination. The family shared their story openly, highlighting the importance of love, respect, and unity in a world too often divided. Linda, moved by their honesty and courage, wrote an article that captured the heart of their experience and William's clear message against prejudice. The piece quickly gained attention, shining a spotlight on the family's commitment to fairness and the power of speaking out. While the toy store incident might have started as a moment of unfairness, it sparked a broader conversation about dignity and respect that resonated far beyond London. Could this be the beginning of a new chapter? One where kindness truly wins, no matter where you come from or what you look like. But what sparked Prince William's bold movement after Prince Louis's toy store incident? Stay glued to your screen to find out. William turned a toy store incident into a movement for change. As the royal family prepared to leave London after a tense episode involving Prince Louis at a local toy store, the experience sparked more than just headlines. It ignited a push for something bigger. What began as a painful moment for young Louis, who was unfairly treated by a store employee, quickly transformed into a powerful call for respect and equality. Prince William, deeply affected by what happened to his son, didn't let the incident fade away quietly. Upon returning home, he took decisive steps to ensure no family would face similar treatment again. Inspired by this, William spearheaded new programs within the toy store chain to raise awareness about kindness, inclusion, and respect for everyone, regardless of background. Workshops and seminars led by experts in diversity were introduced, encouraging employees to understand different cultures and perspectives. More than just training, William launched community outreach efforts, urging staff to volunteer with local groups fighting discrimination. This wasn't just about policies. It was about creating a culture where empathy and acceptance thrived. Slowly but surely, the store's reputation shifted. It became known not only for its vast and exciting toy collection, but also as a place where every visitor felt welcome and valued. Employees took pride in the new spirit of inclusivity, and customers from all walks of life began sharing stories of how the store had become a positive part of their community. While some question whether such changes would have happened without the royal spotlight, there's no doubt that Prince William's quiet leadership turned a difficult family moment into a chance for meaningful progress. As families continued to visit, they found more than toys. They found a space striving to be fair, respectful, and kind. Could this be the start of a broader change in how businesses approach inclusion? Only time will tell, but the first steps have been taken. But what if a toy store's change started with a royal moment? Stay glued to your screen to find out. Prince Louis faces old shadows. On a bright Saturday morning, Prince Louis pedaled his bike through familiar streets, the gentle breeze and warm sunlight helping ease the sting of past troubles. After recent events that left a mark on his young heart, he was finally finding joy in simple weekend rides again. But just as hope began to bloom, around a corner appeared the same group of boys who had taunted him months earlier. Their voices rose with cruel words, echoing the unfair judgments Louis had already endured, telling him he didn't belong in the neighborhood despite the community's clear rejection of such cruelty. For a moment, the hurt returned sharply, threatening to pull Louis back into that painful place. Yet, just as tension was about to turn into something worse, a familiar sound cut through the chaos. His friends, arriving on the scene, ready for a day of games and laughter. Seeing Louis cornered, they immediately stood by his side, challenging the bullies and refusing to back down. Voices clashed, tempers flared, and soon words spilled into shoves, escalating the scene into something bigger than anyone had wanted. Nearby, Mr. Thompson, a respected neighbor known for his calm and wise presence, noticed the gathering storm while washing his car. Understanding the fragile line between conflict and peace, he stepped in, his firm yet gentle voice calling for silence. The boys, breathing heavily, grudgingly paused as he approached. Listening carefully, Mr. Thompson uncovered the deep truth. Despite the community's earlier stand against discrimination at the toy store incident, some wounds remained unhealed. Using the moment, he spoke of respect, unity, and the real strength found in accepting each other. Slowly, the boys who had hurled insults began to grasp the weight of their actions. Apologies were made, perhaps not fully understood, but sincere enough to open a door to change. Supported by friends and guided by Mr. Thompson's words, Louis accepted, hopeful yet watchful, that this might be the start of something better for them all. Prince Louis pays it forward, but no one saw this coming. Years later, the headlines had faded, but the memory hadn't. What happened that day in the toy store still lingered in Prince Louis's heart, not as pain, but as a quiet reminder of how quickly someone's dignity can be dismissed or restored. He had grown into a thoughtful and observant young royal, more interested in people than protocol. While most focused on his title, Louis seemed focused on something else entirely: impact. On a chilly afternoon in March, while touring a charity initiative with his father, Prince William, in a remote part of Canada, Louis wandered into a modest toy aisle tucked at the back of a local shop partnered with their royal outreach. There, he spotted a young boy with wide eyes and scruffy sleeves, standing silently in front of a shelf stacked with action figures. The boy, no older than Louis had been during his toy store moment, clutched a superhero figure like it was treasure. "Hey, what's his name?"
Is this filming?
Hello? Hello?
Louis asked casually, kneeling down to the boy's level. "Ethan," the boy said, glancing up. "He's my favorite, but my mom said maybe next time." That sentence, "maybe next time," carried weight. Louis remembered being on the other end of judgment. He remembered what it felt like to be misunderstood, underestimated, dismissed. He smiled and responded, "Tell you what, Ethan, I think he's meant for you today. You're not leaving here without him." The boy's face lit up in disbelief. "Really?" Louis nodded.
William and I.
"Really? But there's one rule. Kindness travels. You promise to do something good for someone else when you get the chance?" "Promise!" Ethan beamed. The shop staff, who had no idea who Louis truly was until whispers spread, stood frozen for a moment, then humbled. It wasn't a staged moment. There were no cameras, no press, just one young boy giving another a memory he'd never forget. And maybe that's the legacy Prince William always hoped to pass down. Not just titles or palaces, but something much more human. Empathy in action. But what really changed the mood that day in the toy store? Stay glued to your screen to find out. A royal lesson in kindness. Prince Louis didn't say much as he left the toy store that afternoon, but the look on his face said everything. He'd been embarrassed, misunderstood, and unfairly treated. And not because he'd done anything wrong, but because someone had judged him too quickly. That moment could have ended in silence. Instead, it sparked something far greater. When Prince William learned what had happened, he didn't raise his voice or cause a scene.
He headed home after that event with much more enthusiasm.
He addressed the issue with quiet but firm grace, making it clear that every child, royal or not, deserved to be treated with dignity. Observers say the way William handled it became a defining moment, not just for his son, but for everyone who watched. In the days that followed, the story spread, first quietly, then across headlines. Not because it was a scandal, but because it was something rare, a moment of parenting, leadership, and purpose rolled into one. The toy store chain, which had once only been known for its shelves of fun, soon found itself under new light. Management stepped up, training was reworked, staff were taught to approach every child with fairness.
Even this year at an air show, the noise made,
regardless of name, title, or background. Some say that Prince Louis, still so young, walked away from that day with a lesson bigger than any royal duty. One about empathy, strength, and using your voice, even when it shakes. And while no official statement ever confirmed what came next, rumors suggest the family helped fund programs promoting kindness and inclusion in shops across the UK. Years later, Louis, now older, would often be seen quietly encouraging his peers, speaking kindly to children during public visits, and even joining his parents in community work focused on youth welfare. Was it all inspired by that one afternoon? Perhaps. But what we do know is this: from a moment of pain came a ripple of change. And in a world that often forgets the weight of small actions, Prince Louis reminded us all how even the youngest voices can shape something much bigger. But what if that one heartbreaking moment shaped Prince Louis into the quiet force he is today? Stay glued to your screen. Prince Louis and the legacy that grew beyond the crown. Long after that difficult day in the toy store, Prince Louis never forgot the mix of confusion, humiliation, and frustration he felt. At such a young age, he struggled to understand why someone would treat him so unfairly, simply for being himself. That painful memory lingered, quietly shaping his view of the world and fueling a deep desire to make a difference. As the years passed, Louis grew older, more thoughtful, and increasingly aware of social challenges beyond the palace walls. During a royal outreach visit to Manchester, he met Maya. A passionate young woman working tirelessly at a children's center. Maya dedicated her life to helping displaced families and creating safe, welcoming spaces for children from all walks of life. Her commitment to social justice and compassion struck a chord with Lewis, reflecting values he had quietly come to embrace. Their connection went far beyond personal friendship. It was rooted in a shared purpose. Inspired by Maya's grassroots efforts and Louis's own experiences, the pair joined forces to expand a small, charitable toy initiative. With Prince William's steady support, they began partnering with organizations throughout Europe and beyond. Together, they brought toys, education, and essential resources to children living in conflict zones, refugee camps, and underserved communities, turning a painful childhood moment into a powerful mission to spread hope and kindness worldwide. But their impact didn't stop there. They raised their children to lead with kindness, to challenge injustice, and to speak up when others stay silent. And every year, on the same week Louis had been wrongfully turned away as a child, their foundation launched a campaign promoting empathy in childhood spaces, reminding the world how deeply moments of exclusion can wound, and how powerful it is to respond with compassion. The legacy of Prince Louis and Maya became more than royal headlines. It became a movement, proof that change can come from a single painful moment, transformed by love, courage, and memory. And somewhere, quietly watching, William would have been proud. But what do you think really happened inside that toy store before Prince William stepped in? We'd like to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more royal twists.